Okay.
All right. Hi, I'm Kate Stanley with the Hollywood Reporter TV team, and we are here at the summer press tour with the Women and Mr. Robot. Ladies, if you could please introduce yourselves.
Woo! Hey, I'm Portia Doubleday.
I'm Stephanie Corneliuson.
Carly Chaikin.
Grace Gummer.
And first off, congrats on the 6 Emmy nominations. It's amazing. What was it like on set, and what, if anything, did you do to celebrate the Emmy nominations?
We worked.
Yeah, we worked. Portia and I were both at work, but the feeling and the vibe was just pure joy. I wasn't on season 1, but I felt like I could have been because everyone from season 2 feels so a part of the whole thing. And yeah, so you're welcome.
I was in bed.
I didn't know. My mom called me.
Stephanie, I thought it was interesting you brought up in the panel today that your dad is a programmer. I'm wondering, does he watch the show? Has he had any feedback or anything like that?
He was. That was back in the late 60s in Denmark. And he does a bunch of other things, too. But, yeah, he does, actually. He is, up until recently, he was one of the leading experts on digital media and technology in Denmark. So,
No, he wasn't. I'm like,
I know what he does.
liar.
He drives a truck.
The dad's a veterinarian.
No, he follows the show really closely, and he's, I think he's very impressed with Sam's accuracy and with everything that happens in the show, which he finds very truthful.
And Portia, obviously, your character has gone through so much since season 1. I'm wondering, kind of, what has been the biggest change that you've noticed in Angela in season 2, or maybe in how you've approached the character this season?
I think that there's definitely a huge switch from season 1. I think that this idea of her kind of controlling herself is really daunting and also really interesting to play. I mean, this internal struggle, the need to basically reprogram yourself to eliminate your emotions is a very dangerous thing to do, and you kind of see it play out through the season what that does to her internally, that she actually has to have that in order to keep herself together. And that was the most interesting element, because her demeanor is completely different this season too.
Wardrobe, hair.
Yeah, like there was a really big transition, and I wanted that. I wanted that for her, because after 30 days of what transpired, what she witnessed, witnessing someone kill themselves on national TV, what it's like to work in a place that's completely dominated by men, where she is being, constantly pushed and pulled by, Price. It's great. I mean, it's like that fine line as to whether or not she's like this white knight or she drank the Kool-Aid, and yeah, I love playing her this season. I think that she has some really cool elements.
Definitely. And Carly, obviously there was a huge revolution about, Darlene and Elliot in season 1. I'm wondering, did that change how you approached the character in season 2, or your perception? I mean, can you talk about
Well, I knew from the very beginning that I was his sister. There would have been no way for me to play it accurately if I didn't know that, because otherwise I would have been acting as a total stranger to this guy when the sibling relationship is very specific.
Wait, you're a sister?
Yeah.
You have no idea. It freaked me out so
what?
bad.
Did you find
Do you
out at
watch
the
the
table
first
read?
season?
You
No,
pushed
I
a little note over to me as we were approaching the page, and you pushed over a little
Yeah,
note, and
your
you were like,
reaction was
you were just like,
crazy.
get ready. And then we flipped the page. We were sitting across from each other. We flipped the page, and I had, I completely
I
lost
had
it.
no idea.
Oh, it was
Yeah.
crazy town.
It was challenging in the beginning to have to hide that, because people too started to hate me and were like, who is this girl? She's so annoying, like blah, blah, blah. And I would call Rami and be like, why does everyone hate me? Like, oh my God. And Sam and stuff. So I was so excited for that to come out. And everyone kind of was like, oh, okay, now you make sense. Now I understand. And so that aspect didn't really change anything going into season 2. But Darlene as well, after 5'9", I think everyone changes, and she's really had to step up and take this leadership role. And with Elliot off the grid at her mom's and other members of F Society backing down, like she's really has like the world on her shoulders, and at this point destroyed it. And you know, and if she doesn't see this through and follow through, then she's the monster and she ruined the world. And so obviously that's a lot of pressure. And, you know, she's doing it alone, which is also, you know, not easy. But it's been so amazing to play her this year because, you know, just all the different layers and elements to her and playing that. I can't wait for everyone to continue to watch and see how all of our characters evolve.
Yeah, what's so
all
cool
of
is
our
that.
characters
Oh,
evolve
sorry. What's
Oh,
so cool? Sorry.
It's been a long day.
What's so cool that Sam is always looking on the horizon. He's always looking to what's next, years in advance. So he has this very well planned out. And what's cool about that is that, you know, there are so many big surprises and big bombs that are dropped, but not necessarily right away or all at once or in the very first episode. So it as the season progresses, the sort of evolution of everyone's character is revealed slowly in this very methodical,
I was just going to
interesting
say,
way.
it's like in episode 5 of season 1 with Elliot's voiceover about taking the sand in the shoe and how he says it's slow, it's methodical, it
Exactly.
doesn't happen overnight.
Yeah, it's incremental.
And we have a Facebook question from Bryn. She's wondering.
Hey, Bryn.
Hi, Bryn.
She's wondering how much have each of you kind of become more aware of like security issues and that sort of thing since working on the show, since starting to work on the show.
I think we're all pretty.
Double two-step verification was recommended.
Hacking, and that was never in the forefront of my mind at all until we started with the show, and then the Sony hack happened, and we, Portia and I and Christian Rami and other producers and stuff had this like lecture seminar thing with this hacker before we started who really taught us so much and explained like what hackers are capable of and the mindset, and I was, after that, I think was the beginning of us being just like jaw
It was,
dropped,
yeah,
blown away.
it was absolutely, it was just, I mean, he essentially showed us in a room, like, he actually hacked
He
Sam's
called-
phone,
yeah.
and while we were in there, he
Oh my
hacked
God,
Sam's
really?
phone and had Sam call Chad from his phone, or other
Yeah.
producer, and
But also that
Whoa.
scene where
Yeah, it's really
where
wild.
Cisco is watching you, through
yeah,
the
that's
webcam.
So creepy.
well, he just said that, like, that is really
That
it's
is
so
real.
easy to watch, and your light isn't on. So even if your computer is open, someone could be watching you and listening to you,
Or your
which is
phone.
really wild. And also, he was just, I don't want to misquote this, but
I know.
I remember he, like, looked up, like, NASA, like, confidential information. He was like, this is how easy it is. Click, click, click. Here's, like, a confidential document that you should not be able to access. And that was like, you just don't have privacy anymore. If you put anything out there, it is open. It's like, it's open for anyone.
Yeah.
Well, and the Sony hack too, because you know we filmed the pilot before that happened, and so he talked a lot about that then, and was saying that you know whoever did it had to have been in their system for like 6 months prior. That it's not something that can happen overnight, and you just press a button and it's done.
And you also don't know if they're still in the system. There's like
And there's
no
like
way
nothing
of
you can
telling.
do if they are.
Yeah,
They're like great.
it's a crazy weapon. It's becoming such a
I think hackers are like can be the most powerful people in the world.
Oh, absolutely.
I think
That's why-
that's what's coming.
Absolutely. And you have
in
to
the
be
next
careful with, I know you talk about this too, but what apps you allow to even be on your phone. You know, they
Stupid Pokemon Go. I can't.
which can gather a lot of data and a lot of information about
all
you.
of your information.
Yeah.
But really arbitrary apps can too, that you wouldn't think. Right?
Yeah.
We just so mindlessly go accept to all the things that are like, I never read those like agreements.
No, yeah, we all.
For
do
all I
that.
know, it could say like, I'm gonna take your brain and like kill your mom, and I'd be like, agree.
The iTunes.
That is what they say.
Yeah, I will
that
own
is
your
in there.
life.
I'm wondering when you're kind of going through the scripts and things like that. One of our Facebook questions is from Anna: is how much of the coding and
Hi,
typing
Anna.
and tech talk does anyone do you guys understand when you're on set and kind of like going through?
I knew
None of it.
nothing about it. I was reading through. I remember I have to say. Oh, I was reading what I was supposed to be typing at home on my computer, and I read out IRL, and Joey Badass was sitting next to me, and he was like,
It is
and-
IRL.
yeah, he was like, I
Oh, they wanted
it was
you to say
IRL,
in
but I was
real
like,
life.
what is IRL? I had no idea what IRL was. And he was like,
I don't know what it is.
In real life.
Well, like, duh.
I
But
didn't
I
know
had
that.
no idea.
I
I
feel
just
like I have,
discovered that right now.
I mean,
Oh, I'll teach you. Do you know what shipping is?
what is
for
that?
me.
That's
oh,
the
the
new
shipping
thing.
Okay, I'm
is
gonna
the
answer your
couple
question
thing.
while
Yeah.
we talk. For me, because I feel like I have the most jargon. Cor Adana, who's on set, and he's one of like the tech advisors and writer and all these different things. And I just saw the most interesting article about all of the hacking on our show, which I wish I could tell you guys what it's called to check out, but you can find it. But he writes all of the coding for everything, and so he'll walk us through all of it. And I always ask him, I'm like, what does this mean? How would this be possible? Why can you do this? Because I am, one, curious, but two, as an actor, like, want to know what I'm saying. But him and another guy come up with all the hacks. They do them themselves to test it, and so
We do them real time. So in scenes, like sometimes I had 20 cues. I mean, it's like this, and press this button, and this will come up, and that, and it's tricky because there's
it takes them
no.
like 3 weeks to code something on screen for that long.
I mean,
That's
it's
all
another
crazy.
language.
Yeah.
And it's a language I think that we should all know and learn.
Yeah.
How to code. I definitely don't know how to do that.
I still
no
say
interest.
data instead of data, and Sam always yells at me.
Is that true?
Yeah,
Data?
You say
Yeah.
you say
Data.
data?
I say
data all the time.
and he's like, "It's data."
I say data.
Well, you're right.
Oh, okay.
And, obviously this is kind of, a heavy show. I'm wondering, what you all do to kind of, make it a little bit lighter on set or pass the time between scenes and that sort of thing. I mean, what
This
is
is how we
Yeah,
are.
this is pretty much how it goes. I mean,
This
it
is
is
how
a
it
TV
is.
show. We are actors. So in whether or not you stay in character, I mean, I think it's important to find those moments, and we all get along splendidly.
Yeah, I
Even
mean-
when we're not on set, everybody else in the show is such a goofball.
Yeah,
So much fun and
And I'm wondering, do you guys
splendidly.
splendidly.
Anna is wondering if you all have like a group plan for the Emmys. Like, what have you talked about yet for the big night and that sort of thing?
Not yet.
Nothing.
about
I'm just
anything.
got so much anxiety. I don't know.
We'll do something
We'll
great.
go to the party.
Yeah. Have
It's
a great
exciting.
party.
Dressed up.
Have fun.
Yeah,
I mean-
the best part about doing those things, honestly, is like, when we are out and not working together, it's so amazing because we're not all like, oh, this shot and that, and like what we're doing. So I notice that like when we get out together, we're just a family. So
Yeah.
that part of it is really fun. The fact that we get to do it together and like sit next to each other
Yeah.
and,
I mean,
at the
we-
Globes was like so
me,
fun.
Portia, Christian, Rami, literally for this past year have been together. Everyone's like, "Are you sad when you're done filming?" I'm like, "No, I'm seeing these people in like 2 weeks because we have like something else." So us four have been able to like. It makes it so much more enjoyable to be with people that you have fun being with, doing all this stuff, and just getting to experience it all together.
Definitely. And Juliana is wondering, what is it about the show that drew your attention and made you think this is a great story?
I knew immediately. I like, we've said this so many times. It's like, writing like that doesn't come along very often,
No.
where you are reading something and I remember I was like, I know how this is going to be shot because it's a world. He didn't just create it. I mean, usually when you read scripts, especially for me, it's like, oh, okay, so the director's amazing, the character's really interesting, but all of it was on the page. Like, I just knew immediately the voice that he had and the voiceovers and what he was trying to say. It was like a movie, and it was a complete movie. It was like everything was there. And I think that when you have a script or anything, if it's on the page, usually it's going to be really great. And I also didn't, his voice is very specific, and I didn't identify that, in anything else I had seen. It was just like an immediate close my computer,
And
call
so
my agent
contemporary
moment,
and
being like,
relevant.
I need to be a part of this show.
I went into it with my manager calling me saying, "There's this USA show that they want to see you for, read it." And I was like, USA, like blue skies, like all that. So when I started, I had no idea what to expect. I was expecting kind of that genre, and so immediately I was like, oh, whoa, holy shit, and like closed my computer after and was like, my boyfriend was in the other room, and I was like, oh my god, you have no idea what I just read, and could not stop talking about it all night, and was just like blown away.
This is the exact same thing that happened to me.
Yeah.
And I mean, Joanna's not in the pilot. And after reading the pilot, I was just like, this is the new It show. Because it's so current and it's so relevant and it's contemporary and you...
Special.
It's really freaking
And
special.
it's fearless. It's unlike any other show on TV. I was watching it knowing that I was probably going to be on it. So I was like, oh my god, I'm going to be on this show. I'm going to be right there in that room with all these people. That was so exciting.
That's so cool.
Yeah, that is really cool.
That's really,
and
really
I found
cool.
myself, on set being like, wait, this looks very familiar.
Did you like it?
Yeah, I loved it.
That is so cool, that experience.
Yeah, it just speaks
coming
to
in.
this sort of modern, very pervasive mood of distrust in society and societal betrayals, and how overwhelming the world is now, and how we have no privacy, we have no control.
And how this can happen.
Yeah.
I mean, people need to be aware of that. I feel like I sound like such a...
Well, no, I always say, like, our show
It
isn't
can,
pigs
yeah.
flying in Mars, like, or something so crazy or unrealistic. Every single thing that happens on the show is possible.
Yeah.
And it's also so human. It's so. That's why I think what's so great about all of our characters is that there's this sort of. Sam does such a great job of grounding everyone in reality and in this human complexity and emotional state of being amidst all the sort of technology and chaos that's going on. There's heart there, and that's on TV. A lot of TV shows I don't think have as much heart as Mr. Robot does.
Or real human emotion.
Yeah.
And those are all our questions for today. Mr.
That's it?
Robot airs
Only
Wednesdays at
3
10
questions?
p.m. on USA Network. And
Tonight.
don't forget- Yes, tonight. And don't forget to go to thr.com/livefeed.
Tonight's
Check out all our
episode
latest
is
Mr.
pretty
Robot
amazing.
coverage.
Tonight episode, good.
Woo! Bye!